In this lecture, we're going to be going over the use of layers. Now, a lot of people get pretty confused about layers, but they're pretty simple, and I'm going to try to explain this to you in the simplest way possible. So, layers are over here in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. What a layer is imagine it like stacks of glass. So, you have your bottom layer, which is a white sheet of paper. If we add a second layer to it by coming down to this little icon that looks like a piece of paper with a folded corner, we're going to click that, and that'll add a second layer, and you'll see it's stacked on top of our background layer. Now this layer, you can think of it as a sheet of glass like I said. What we'll do is we're going to paint on it, and now what we've done is we've painted on the sheet of glass and not on the piece of paper behind it. Now we can add a second layer, and on this layer we can paint a different color. So let's come and select the color red, and let's paint a second squiggly line, and you'll see it's on top of our green one. Now the cool thing about layers is now this green layer is completely unaffected by this red layer. If we turn off the red layer, you'll see the green layer is still there, and vice versa. Now if we click on our bottom green layer and we drag it up above our layer 2, you'll see that they switch places. So when you're working with layers, just imagine them like sheets of glass, and they're stacked in order as you see over here on the bottom right hand side of your screen. Now there's many ways to make layers interact with each other, and the most common way that we're going to be using is by changing the layer type. And the way you do that is you come up here to this little drop down menu that says normal, and we're going to click the little arrow, and you'll see it comes up with all these different options. So let's just go ahead and select one, and we're going to select linear dodge, and you'll see that the green has disappeared and whatever has been going over the red spots has turned yellow. Now, I'm not going to go into explanation of how this works exactly. I just want you to see that when you select different layer types, it changes the way they interact with each other. So go ahead and create different layers with different things on them, and then change the layer types to see what all the different layer types do, and really experiment with this so you can start to grasp an understanding of what you can do with layers. Now the last thing I want to show you with layers is I want to show you how to label your layers, because this is going to be very important so that we can keep our document very organized and remember where everything is. Once you start adding dozens of layers over here for your project, it's going to get very confusing if they're all labeled layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. You're not going to have any idea what's on that layer. So the way you label your layer is by double clicking on the words, and now you see you can select the word and you can type something else in there. So for the layer with the red squiggle on it, we're going to call it red. Then you hit enter, and now you'll see it's labeled red. Let's do the same for the green. So now those are labeled and we know what's on that layer. I hope this lecture was really helpful for you and you learned about layers and how to understand them.